Lunchtime, 1 Chronicles chapter 14. And Hiram, sovereign of Sor, sent messengers to David and cedar trees with stonemasons and carpenters to build him a house. And David knew that Jehovah had established him as sovereign over Israel, for his reign was highly exalted for the sake of his people Israel. And David took more wives in Jerusalem, and David brought forth more sons and daughters. And these are the names of his children whom he had in Jerusalem: Shemua and Shobab, Nathan and Shelomo, and Yiphar, Elishua, Elpelet, and Nogah, and Nepheg, Yaphia, Elishama, Be Eliada, and Eliphalet. And when the Philistines heard that David had been appointed sovereign over Israel, all the Philistines went up to seek David, and David heard and went out against them. And the Philistines came and made a raid on the valley of Rephaim. And David inquired of Elohim, saying, Do I go up against the Philistines, and shall you give them into my hand? And Jehovah said to him, Go up, and I shall give them into your hand. And they went up to Baal Peratzim, and David struck them there. Then David said, Elohim has broken through my enemies by my hand like a breakthrough of water. So they called the name of that place Baal Peratzim. And they left their mighty ones there, so David commanded, and they were burned with fire. And the Philistines once again made a raid on the valley. And David again inquired of Elohim, and Elohim said to him, Do not go up after them, go around them, and come upon them in front of the mulberry trees. And it shall be, when you hear a sound of stepping in the tops of the mulberry trees, then go out to battle, for Elohim shall go out before you to strike the camp of the Philistines. And David did as Elohim commanded him, and they struck the army of the Philistines from Gibeon as far as Gezer. And the name of David went out into all the lands, and Jehovah put the dread of him upon all nations. And he built houses for himself in the city of David, and he prepared a place for the ark of Elohim, and pitched a tent for it. Then David said, No one is to lift the ark of Elohim but the Levites, for Jehovah has chosen them to lift the ark of Elohim, and to serve him forever. And David assembled all Israel at Jerusalem, to bring up the ark of Jehovah to its place, which he had prepared for it. And David gathered the children of Aharon and the Levites, and the sons of Kehath, Uriel the chief, and 120 of his brothers. And the sons of Merari, Asaiah the chief, and 220 of his brothers. And the sons of Gershom, Joel the chief, and 130 of his brothers. Of the sons of Elitzaphan, Shemaiah the chief, and 200 of his brothers. The sons of Hebron, Eliel the chief, and 80 of his brothers. Of the sons of Uziel, Aminadab the chief, and 112 of his brothers. And David called for Sadok, and Abiathar the priest, and for the Levites, for Uriel, Asaiah, and Joel, Shemaiah, and Eliel, and Aminadab, and said to them, You are the heads of the fathers' houses of the Levites. Set yourselves apart, you and your brothers. Then you shall bring up the ark of Jehovah, Elohim of Israel, to the place I have prepared for it. Because you did not do it in the first time, Jehovah our Elohim broke out against us, because we did not ask him about the right ruling. So the priests and the Levites set themselves apart to bring up the ark of Jehovah, Elohim of Israel. And the children of the Levites bore the ark of Elohim on their shoulders by its poles, as Moshe had commanded according to the word of Jehovah. And David spoke to the leaders of the Levites to appoint their brothers, the singers, with instruments of song, harps and lyres and cymbals, and to lift up the voice with joy. And the Levites appointed Haman, son of Yoel, and of his brothers, Asaph, son of Berechiahu, and of their brothers, the sons of Merari, Ethan, son of Cushiyahu. And with them their brothers of the second rank, Zechariah ben Yaaziel, and Shemiramoth, and Yehiel, and Uni, Eliab, and Beniyahu, and Maasiyahu, and Matithyahu, and Alephlehu, and Mikneyahu, and Obed-Edom, and Yeiel, the gatekeepers. And the singers, Heman, Asaph, and Ethan, were to sound the cymbals of bronze. And Zechariah, and Aziel, and Shemiramoth, and Yehiel, and Uni, and Eliab, and Maasiyahu, and Beniyahu, with harps according to Alamoth. And Matithyahu, and Alephelehu, and Mikneyahu, and Obed-Edom, and Yehiel, and Azaziahu, to lead with lyres on the Sheminith. And Kenaniahu, leader of the Levites, in the song, because he was skilled. And Berechiah and Elkanah were doorkeepers for the ark. And Shebaniahu, and Joshaphat, and Nathanael, and Amasai, and Zechariahu, and Benyahu, and Eleazar, the priest, were to blow the trumpets before the ark of Elohim, and Obed-Edom and Yeriah were doorkeepers for the ark. And it was David and the elders of Israel and the commanders over thousands who went to bring up the ark of the covenant of Jehovah from the house of Obed-Edom with joy. And it came to be, when Elohim helped the Levites who bore the ark of the covenant of Jehovah, that they slaughtered 7 bulls and 7 rams. And David was dressed in a robe of fine linen, as were all the Levites who bore the ark, the singers, and Kenaniah, and leader of the service with the singers, and David wore a linen shoulder garment. So all Israel brought up the ark of the covenant of Jehovah with shouting, and with the voice of a shofar, with trumpets, and with cymbals, sounding with harps and lyres. And it came to be, as the ark of the covenant of Jehovah came to the city of David, that Michal, the daughter of Shaul, looking through a window, saw sovereign David dancing and playing, and she despised him in her heart.